fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up and get the guy go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Morning Spread right here on the Betting News Network, brought to you by our lovely sponsors at onlinecasinogames.com. Go there using promo code BNX20. Get yourself $20 in free chips immediately at onlinecasinogames.com. Nate Hornung, your host here, better known as Shaggy Bets. I got producer SBJ helping me out in the shadows today. And as you can see, we are dressed in all black for the U.S. men's national team funeral that happened last night at the hands of Belgium. We're still hating waffles, guys, right? We're still not over that. But I mean, just a disappointing showing from a team that had the entire country behind them, had the narrative of being a host nation. Obviously, the best U.S. men's national team we've seen ever in our lifetime and beyond, for that matter. And we get to the round of 16, which is a typical round for us to get to in the World Cup. And guess what? We still can't get over the hump. Just a horrendous showing on the pitch by our team. And unfortunately, it's not really surprising. Right, maybe a little bit when you look into the recency bias and how these teams were performing in the tournament. U.S. just playing out of their minds for 3 games in the group stage and then even looking phenomenal against Bosnia in the round of 32. And then a Belgium side that, ended up topping their group, but certainly struggled against lesser teams, obviously beat up on New Zealand in order to top the group, and then, struggled against Senegal in the round of 32, finally woke up for the last 5 minutes of that match, and then in extra time winning it, and then they just dominated the U.S. last night in the round of 16. So, looking at these recent forms of these teams, it was always the U.S., right? They were looking like the better side on the pitch consistently throughout the tournament leading up to this match. But Belgium's still a European powerhouse, right? They're still a top 10 team in the nation or in the world. They certainly looked like it last night. And the U.S. looked like U.S. teams of the past, which is very unfortunate considering I thought Pochettino had brought a new mentality into this team of being aggressive and, knowing that we can hang with the best in the world. We just got to compete with them and we got to bring some fire. And we just did not do that last night. We looked scared. We looked timid. We looked like we woke up and realized, hey, we're the U.S. playing a top 10 team in the world. What are we doing? We can't compete at this level. 4-1, just a brutal beatdown at the hands of the Belgians last night. And, it looked that way very early on. From the jump, Belgium was clearly the better team, the more fearless side, and they played like it on the pitch. We saw it in the very first goal, just 9 minutes into the match. Alex Freeman, clears a ball with his head. It kind of pops up into the air towards the edge of the box, and the U.S. has 4 guys around the ball watching it all drop to the ground. Nobody takes the initiative to step up, jump, and clear that ball with their head. Rather, they're all standing around waiting for the other guy to do something. The ball drops to the ground. Belgian player steps in, takes it, and plays a perfect cross for their first goal. And from then on, it was just rough from a United States perspective. Again, that goal right there really set the tone for the entire match that Belgium said, hey, we haven't been playing good. We're still a top 10 team in the world. And they certainly looked like it last night. The U.S., I had plenty of problems with their roster selection, specifically with Mr. Tim Ream still being our go-to guy in the back line. Not sure we couldn't find anyone else to play better in that center back position. But no, he had a horrendous game. Matt Freese played awful as well. It was really unfortunate that our worst showing of the tournament came then, when it mattered the most, with a chance at getting to the quarterfinals on the line. The U.S. just shit the bed, respectfully. They just did not show up at all. Belgium did. You got to tip your cap to Belgium. Lukaku with the cherry on top towards the end of the match as well, and really letting the U.S. fans hear it, rightfully so, because Belgium dominated us. It seemed like the whole world was rooting against us after Balogun's red card got overturned. He was able to step up on the pitch, and props to him for at least fighting and playing with some pride. But the rest of the team just horrendous showing. Berhalter, actually a breath of fresh air off the bench, actually brought a little bit of spark to this team, showed some tenacity that we really didn't see from anyone in that match. We played scared. We played like a CONCACAF team facing one of UEFA's best, and that was the result that we got on the pitch. So unfortunate that that is the timing of the whole thing. Again, we had played so great leading up to this match, and then when it matters most, the lights were too bright for the U.S. men's national team, losing to Belgium yesterday 4-1 in rather embarrassing fashion. We wouldn't have gotten on the scoreboard had it not been for a lucky deflection off the defender, off Malik Tillman's free kick. Second player ever I saw to score 2 direct free kicks at the same World Cup. Last time that happened was back in, I believe, 1966 from a French player, if I'm getting that stat right. But Malik Tillman found the back of the net, a glimmer of hope for the U.S. national team, and amidst what else was a terrible game to watch. Just tough watching that as a U.S. men's team, especially, from myself, who I tried to keep my expectations realistic, obviously, by betting on the U.S. to be eliminated in the round of 32. That didn't happen. They gave me hope. I was ready to cheer this team all the way on to the final. And then again, we faced top 10 team in the world, and the predictable happens. Belgium beats us down. I was very much wrapped up in my patriotism last night, betting wise. It was never the U.S. There was never any value on the U.S. It was very, very clearly Belgium was the right side, regardless of the result. Just for the numbers specifically, getting Belgium to advance at plus money against the U.S., that should have been a tell in itself that Belgium was the right side betting-wise. But it is what it is. U.S. men's national team did not show up. Pochettino, right now, it's about resting a little bit to think, have conversations with the federation to see what the decision is. I'm so happy we built a very good relationship. Now is not a moment to talk about my future. I mean, I don't know where we go from here. You know what I mean? Pochettino, I thought, was the right fit for the job. It always kind of felt like this was going to be a stepping stone for him. Obviously, he was linked to AC Milan prior to the tournament even starting. People thought he was kind of on his way out. But, I mean, he did good. I will give him his flowers because he rallied this crew and got them ready for a World Cup in a very small amount of time. I mean, this guy was hired less than 2 years before the World Cup began and was supposed to completely turn this team around. And, he did to an extent. This was a good showing for the U.S. men's national team. Obviously, I don't think the World Cup was a success. I think getting to the quarterfinals would have made it a success. Round of 16 exit, we're pretty much used to that. That's kind of expected, especially with this extended World Cup. So I'll give Ponch his flowers because I did not expect this well of a showing from the U.S. team in such a short turnaround. But again, where do we go from here? Who is the next guy up? How do we get better? And I don't know if you can from a manager perspective. It really just seems like we're going to need to continue to develop players from an early age. And, part of me, I read a great tweet that's part of what's holding the United States back is you look at these European youth programs and these academies and players getting paid as early as 16 years old to develop, to progress, and just to play soccer. Whereas in the United States, it costs a ridiculous amount of money just to get on a competitive travel soccer club. And then in doing so, you automatically shrink the talent pool, right? No longer are you getting the best of the best from the entire country. You're getting the best of the best from families who can afford to pay top dollar for these youth soccer programs. And, that's not just a youth soccer thing. That's just a youth sports thing in general. Baseball, basketball, football, all the sports are completely getting priced out to a lot of these families. And again, that just shrinks the entire talent pool. Whereas teams in Europe and Belgium and France and Germany, they're scouting out those 12, 13, 14-year-olds who have the skills to go to the next level and they're signing them to a contract that day and said, hey, we're going to pay him for his development starting right now rather than the other way around. And that's really what's holding the U.S. back. And I honestly don't think we're going to see major improvement until that flips. And again, I don't really think it's going to because those corporations in America that run these youth sports programs that are raking in the money left and right, nickel and diming the parents every step along the way, they're not going to vote to switch that, right? They like the money rolling into their pockets. They're going to keep it that way. And that's ultimately what's going to hold the U.S. back for the future. I don't have much faith going into 2030 because, again, I don't think a whole lot's going to change in 4 short years. Even if we do replace Pochettino and get a new manager in there, I just don't think that's going to be the decider. And I don't think it's going to be much of a difference maker. I kind of think we've reached the pinnacle in terms of having a good manager at the U.S. national team. I think Pochettino is it. I don't know where we go from there. I think the best option would be looking at player development, which, again, the U.S. is far behind in that aspect. So we'll see what happens in 2030, but the U.S. did not show up yesterday against Belgium. Tough watch from the fans here as we are sweating out Argentina and Egypt. Currently 10 minutes into this match, still scoreless. But I should tell you what I am currently sweating out. We're sweating out the under, ladies and gentlemen. Argentina and Egypt under the 2.5 at -115. Look, we saw what Cape Verde was able to do against this Argentina team. They held their own. They competed with them. They held them to a 1-1 draw in 90 minutes. Eventually, Argentina flexed their muscle in extra time. I think Egypt is certainly capable of doing exactly that. Right, Argentina ended up on the easier side of the bracket. They're likely going to face Colombia in the quarterfinals, likely in England or Norway in the semifinals, assuming they get past Egypt here. Argentina cannot get caught underestimating these clubs, right? Just because they are on the quote-unquote easier side of the bracket, you still got to win the games. You still got to advance. So I've got faith in Argentina doing so. I just don't think it's going to be a very high-scoring match. Again, I think Egypt is going to be very, very stingy defensively. We've seen that in their other matches. They only allowed a single shot on target to Australia in the round of 32 match, but they were on the defensive end for a good portion of that contest. I think Argentina defensively, defense has to be a priority for this Argentinian team, knowing that you give up a goal to Cape Verde, you give up a screamer in stoppage time. You got to quit playing with your food, right? And so how does Argentina do that? I think they come out and get a first half goal. I kind of expected them to at least have a couple of decent chances here in the first 10 minutes, but I see them taking a 1-0 lead before halftime, maybe getting a second one in the second half, but I like Argentina to win a low-scoring match here. 1-0 at +460 is my correct score prediction, but we're sweating out the under 2.5 as Argentina takes on Egypt right now. Like I said, 12 minutes into that match, Argentina, get the job done, but not too many. Please and thank you. All right. Well, that is about all the recap I can afford. I can't talk anymore about that U.S. game because that was just a pitiful showing on the world's biggest stage. Spain and Portugal. Spain got the 1-0 win. A late goal from them sealed the victory. Mikel Merino in stoppage time gives Spain a 1-0 victory, moving on to the quarterfinals where they will blanket. Who are they facing in the quarterfinals? Belgium, facing Belgium in the quarterfinals after Belgium takes down the U.S. men's team. So a very tough side of the bracket that is, with France and Morocco going head-to-head in one quarterfinal, Spain and Belgium in the other. Likely we are going to see a France and Spain semifinal. I hope we see a France and Spain semifinal. Two of the tourney favorites going head-to-head would be cinema to all of us fans. Other side of the bracket, we've got Norway and England slotted in one quarterfinal already, with the winners of today's matches facing off in the other. That's Argentina or Egypt, and then Switzerland and Colombia going head-to-head later today. But for right now, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's have some fun, because I need some fun after watching that horrendous U.S. team showing last night. Let's play some Geo Sports. Let's see how we do. and see if we can't get a perfect score, ladies and gentlemen, because we have been very, very close. So let's go get one. No producer help from Alex or Sook today. Mr. SPJ might be around. He might help us out. See how we do. Oh, he's giving me the thumbs up. Get on up here, sir. Let's do some Geo Sports. Let's see how we do.
All right, now.
Question number 1. The Malice at the Palace. A violent 2004 NBA brawl happened here. That would be Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah.
Ron Artest into the stands.
That's got to be, yep.
I mean,
Nice
in there somewhere, right? In there somewhere.
Yeah, that's got to be pretty spot on.
Oh, we're a little too far. 23 miles. Wow. Okay, way outside of Detroit is the stadium, apparently.
I thought the Pistons was like downtown.
It's not actually in Detroit, though. Maybe has it moved?
Oh, we should have listened to Kev.
Yeah, we should have listened. We should have. They would have told us Auburn Hills. Yeah, we were looking for Auburn Hills, not Michigan. Egypt is on the board, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Egypt is on the board 15 minutes into this match. I am not seeing any signs of an offsides or a VAR or anything like that. I just saw the celebration, but Egypt
Ibrahim
on the board. Wow. It's a good one, Papa Shags. It's a good one.
Your dad's got jokes.
Oh, he absolutely has jokes.
Oh, for sure.
Gotta love it. All right, I want to see this real quick. Yep, everyone. Yeah, that right back, keeping everybody on side. Nice headed goal.
You know what the crazy thing is? Since you just talked about the U.S. team before we move to the next. Oh no, I mean I'll have a chance to rant about this later on Betspresso, but
please.
I've been so impressed with all of the knockout round games with how even the teams that were outmatched were able to stay in the game and keep it close. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch the last like 30 minutes of the U.S. game because I was flying, but didn't sound like I missed too much in the last 30. What just a piss poor performance, man. Like just an absolute just buffoonery of just showing that you can't. You said it pretty well, so I'll save the rest of my thoughts for later. But I was really disappointed in the fact that we've seen some really good games, everybody rising to the occasion across all of the countries. I mean, Cape Verde played better than us yesterday.
Yeah.
And it just was really disappointing to see that. And yeah, Matt Freese, you should not be a professional goalkeeper. Go do something else.
Dude, yeah, just clear the ball, man. Stop second guessing yourself in that situation. Just put it 30 into the air. Like whatever you got to do.
I've watched that highlight so many times, and I still don't understand what the hell that guy was doing. Also, Tim Ream, like you said, needs to get taken out back to the woodshed, unfortunately, because his performance yesterday was. I know he's been kind of not great in the entire tournament, and he's been kind of caught out a few times. But good God, he was terrible. And that play as well was the cherry on top. With just Freeze was at 100% at fault there, but like. Just clear the ball, dude. Like the ball hits him, and he looked like the most unathletic person of all time trying to clear the ball. Like
exactly.
It was just play the circus music when that was happening. It was just one of those situations. But
yeah, video makes me angry every time I see it. I'm right there with you, Austin, because it's a horrible performance. I mean, in that situation,
not only
get it out of there.
The thing about that was crazy too, though, was because that was the moment when the U.S. were actually starting to push back, and it was 2-1, but they were actually starting to put some nice link play together. They were getting back into the game, looking like they might threaten to, because Belgium couldn't even get hold of the ball at that point. Like the U.S. had a solid 10 minutes of possession there, and then you just give that goal away, and then the game was over. Like it was done at that point. Like you had your chance to kind of try to climb back into things, and then you give up the most buffoonery goal of all time, and then it was like, yeah, this is over.
And that speaks also to Pochettino making the adjustments at halftime. Making a formational change, making the sub that he needed to, and gave them a legit shot, and they looked very, very good for those first 10 minutes of the second half, like you said. And that goal sucked the life out of us completely. And really the second goal kind of did that too, because after we gave up that second one, immediately after equalizing, we didn't really show much more for the rest of halftime. After that, it was kind of like, all right, let's get to the break, make those adjustments, and we did. Pochettino did what he had to do, and the guys looked good for the first 10 minutes or so of the second half, and then that goal just really demoralizing for the entire team, and we never responded, never recovered after that. So
I don't want to derail us, but maybe we can talk about this another day. But do you think? I mean, Christian Pulisic obviously gets a lot of slack just for being the quote unquote face of the nation and Captain America and all that jazz and everything, and him getting subbed out with the sprained ankle and everything. I mean, his performance the entire tournament has been very underwhelming because of the injuries and things like that. But that's kind of unfortunately par for the course for this guy. Sort of a similar conversation to what we've talked about with Lamine Lamal and like these guys that just get crowned before they actually end up doing anything. What a disappointing performance from him yesterday, but also throughout this entire tournament. And I mean, that was his window. This is the thing about the World Cup. Like it's every 4 years. And as a professional football player, Messi and Ronaldo are anomalies. Like playing 6 World Cups is like, that's
not
just,
normal.
it doesn't happen. Like you're lucky if you get 3, maybe 4, if you're a really, really high quality player and you don't deal with injuries. But like these guys usually have 2 to 3 World Cup windows maximum as professional players. And like, I think we might have seen Pulisic's only opportunities to actually make a difference as a United States player. And like, what a terrible performance that he put up yesterday, the entire team, obviously, but also I just think that this might be it as him being a, actual legitimate piece of this puzzle moving forward.
Right. No, I'm right there with you as Jeff spoils this PK for me that Messi's about to take up and apparently miss, according to Mr. Stenberg. Let's see what happens.
Yep.
He missed it.
Wow.
Saved, but yeah. Wow. Messi.
He does the slow run up too. I mean, it's Messi. He can do whatever he wants, but he does that slow little run up as well.
Just pick your spot and finish it, man. Pick your spot and finish it,
man.
But no, I like what you're saying, and I agree with a lot of what you're saying about Pulisic because, the window is gone. 4 years from now, this team is going to look a lot different. The only guy I think, definitely has a spot is kind of Malik Tillman, to be honest with you. Balogun as well, probably. But other than that, I mean, Pulisic is going to be getting up there in age in 2030. He's got a lot of pressure on this kid. And, a lot of that, like you said, is because we crowned him so early before he was even able to drink, and moved on to Germany to be a stud for Dortmund. He was already going to be our savior. And we're like, oh, he's going to be there in 2018. Well, we don't even qualify. He's going to be even older and better in 2022. And we shit the bed there. And then here we are hosting in 26 and kind of the same thing happens. He's just not good enough to get us over the hump. As good as he is and as good as an American soccer player he is, he's not a Messi, a Ronaldo, an Erling Haaland who can single-handedly change the game and lead his country to victories. So a lot of pressure on that kid. But very, very underwhelming tournament from him specifically. Aside from that first half against Paraguay, he looked rock solid, but had been dealing with injuries, which sucks. But you said it. That window has kind of moved on now. And we just got to focus on 2030, see what happens. So,
I mean, like the likes of Josie Altidore, I feel like made a bigger stamp in American soccer history. And like, I don't know, it's just so interesting to see these players, as you've talked about before with some of these other countries, get crowned and then just don't live up to the expectations. And it's like the guys of, even Landon Donovan and Clint Dempsey, like those, Brian McBride dating back to when we were kids, like, they took the opportunities and they turned American soccer into something. And then like these guys get crowned and then they come in and they can't make a difference. And it's like, you have to step up in these situations and these moments to be able to make a difference and move the needle forward. And as you said too, like this isn't going to change really until like the development aspect of younger players. And like with everything you said earlier, that's not going to really change, but this was a massive opportunity to change the narrative. And I really think they missed the mark. So anyway, back to geography.
And it sucks too because all us Americans are all gonna say, we got football coming in a couple of months. When this could have been the opportunity to really propel the soccer in America to the next level. But a bunch of kids waking up this morning, probably not as encouraged to play soccer because they had to watch that. So.
I wanted to ask you about this too, so I'm
Mhm.
glad have you noticed as well because I saw some people chattering about this on the timeline, talking about the kind of lack of presence by the MLS on socials and like kind of advertising the game throughout the World Cup. It's like there are so many people that are going to like go be Man City fans because of Holland, and maybe Real Madrid fans because of Messi, or not Messi, because of Mbappe, and maybe Inter Milan gets a little bit, or Inter Miami gets a bit of a boost just because of Messi. But like, I haven't seen any ads for the MLS, and like this is the chance to grow the game on your home soil, not only from the U.S. men's national team, but your domestic league that you're trying to develop. So I think a massive missed opportunity by the MLS to continue to try to push this league to the next level and really show that you are, can play with the big boys. And unfortunately, last night you showed that you couldn't. So yeah, that was disappointing too. I don't know if you've seen any things along those lines, especially as somebody who comes from a background of knowing the ins and outs of not the MLS, but professional soccer in the United States.
No, I mean, yeah, you kind of said it. It's a big missed opportunity because I'm scrolling through the MLS's timeline right now, and they could do a lot better job of promoting themselves and using this opportunity of, hey, we're in the middle of our season, we're taking a break for the World Cup, but as soon as this is over, we're going to start right back up again. So all you soccer fans, hey, we've got it on your own soil that you can watch. And, unfortunately, there's still obviously a talent discrepancy. The MLS is nowhere near a top team or a top league in the world. So from that perspective, it's not as appealing. But yeah, I think it was a missed opportunity from the MLS, and maybe their social team took the month off too with the entire league. Who knows? But you kind of said it. It's definitely a missed opportunity to help promote the sport and this league, and they really didn't do that. So no, that's a great insight that I hadn't really thought of. But maybe that's because I hadn't seen anything about it.
Yeah, well, I saw somebody pop up about it, and obviously, everybody gets inflammatory when this type of stuff happens with the United States. People love their flashy takes and things like that. But I saw somebody posting about that, and I was like, yeah, why have I not seen any ads or anything for these like club teams? Like even Inter Miami stuff. Like Messi's been one of the best players of the entire, even though he just missed a pen, like he's up for the Golden Boot. Have you seen any Inter Miami like advertisements? Have you seen anything from, those other teams? Obviously, they just signed Vizinha too from Cape Verde. He's going to play for Inter Miami now. And like, besides that, I haven't seen jack shit. So it's like just a massive missed opportunity if you're trying to grow the United States game domestically. And I mean, as we've talked about too, the World Cup is going to end. And as you said, the MLS picks back up. But right after that, about 2 weeks later, all the domestic leagues in Europe get back going too. So you're going to miss the boat on all the viewership going, which is great for the World Cup growth. And I mean, we've been talking about it, and chat's been talking about it, of like, this has got through the dog days of summer, which has been fantastic. But like, so many fans are going to follow their favorite players now into the domestic leagues because they want to keep watching soccer because they've gotten bitten by the bug. And there's not a lot of those players you're going to go follow into the MLS now, which kind of sucks because of the lack of advertising. But
yeah, I have noticed when the MLS does promote anything, it's usually Inter Miami related, which just shows how much of a stranglehold that club has on the entire league. Clearly racking in the money for the entire league. So
sure.
Yeah, is what it says. But I mean, you said it, kind of a missed opportunity from the MLS advertising wise. This could have been a golden opportunity.
Yeah,
and they missed the boat. So
absolutely. I got time for one more question, then I got to leave you.
So. Cool. All right. Well, let's do it. Question 1 was Mouse in the Palace. I think that's the button we need. Nope. Just kidding.
It's this one.
Oh, there we go. It's that one. All right. Question number 2. The Fail Mary, decided by replacement refs on the final play, happened here in 2012.
Was that in Lambeau, or was that in? It was definitely Seahawks, Packers. But was it in Lambeau or was it in Seattle? Yeah, it was in. Oh, GPAC would definitely know because it was.
Yeah, GPAC would know right away.
It was in Lumen. Okay.
Love it, Seattle. I believe we're kind of right on the tip here.
Yeah, and Lumen's like right downtown, or like right by downtown. Yeah, it's in the vicinity.
Lock it in.
Oh, a little north, but okay.
A little north. Prime stuff from the logo. We'll take it. Replacement refs ruled a last play Hail Mary a simultaneous catch handing Seattle a 14-12 win over Green Bay. Outrage helped in the NFL's referee lockout days later. The Fail Mary.
I got time for one more. I can't. I got to run.
All right, one more. The NFL franchise based here traded Marshall Faulk to the Rams for 2 picks in 1999. Traded him to the Rams.
Where did Marshall Faulk play before the Rams?
GB Texas Colts.
All right, so Indy. Yeah, that's Indy. And Lucas Oil is like downtown.
Yeah, right downtown for sure. 1 mile off there. There we have it.
Right.
In 1999, Indianapolis Colts sent Faulk to St. Louis for 2 picks,
Wow.
then drafted Edgerrin James. Faulk keyed the Rams' greatest show on turf, winning a Super Bowl and the 2000 NFL MVP.
I mean, didn't work out. Like, you can't call that a win-win, but Edgerrin James was really good too.
It's a pretty solid replacement if you're gonna sell Marshall Faulk. So
yeah,
rock solid.
All right, man. I got to roll.
All right.
Enjoy the rest of your show. And
Absolutely.
I'll see you in a little bit.
Of course. I'll see you later, man. Take it easy. Enjoy your Tuesday. All right, folks. Well, here we are. We're back. Oh, let's get rid of that. There we go. We're back to normal. All right, 2 more questions. See how we do. Hall of Famer Drazen Petrovic starred for the Nets, but grew up in this coastal city. Is that Croatian? Petrovic? My mind's saying Croatian. I don't know if chat's having anything else. He's going to be from like New York or some shit, isn't he? We'll go with Croatia. That's a nice little coastal city. We'll take it. Nothing from chat. Looks like a Croatian name to me. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Embiid. I'm right there with you. Coastal city, Croatia. We'll take it. Absolutely. 33 miles off. Argentina's setting up for a free kick right now in the 31st minute. Petrovic born in Sabinik on Croatia's Adriatic coast. Scoring genius for the New Jersey Nets. Died in a 1993 car crash at 28. Was later enshrined in the Hall of Fame. Number 10, Lionel Messi, stepping over this free kick. Probably 30-ish yards out. Was that off the post or the keeper saved that? Keeper saved it. Corner kick, Argentina. One more question. In 2002, the NFL played its first regular season game in Germany at this stadium. Wasn't that Munich? Which is this guy. I believe that's Munich. It's Berlin, isn't it? Oh my gosh. All right, I just don't know where Munich is. Note to self. That's Munich. Now we'll remember. November 13th, 2022, Tom Brady's Buccaneers beat the Seahawks 21-16. NFL's first regular season game in Germany. The crowd's singing became the game's signature. There you have it. Look, 980. We'll take it. Not our best. Above average for the month. We're going to take it. 980, 98 out of 100. 98%. Undisputed A. Ladies and gentlemen. All right, folks. Well, that is some Geo Sports for you. Now let's get into the rest of the picks. We got about 25 minutes left on this show, and I'm going to tell you all about why we are very, very Colombian tonight. Because I have now 2.5 units on Colombia to move on in some way, shape, or form against Switzerland tonight. So let's talk about it. Switzerland and Argentina going head-to-head in Vancouver. Now, Switzerland has a slight travel advantage, given that they played the round of 32 matchup in Vancouver. They've also played a group stage match in Vancouver. They're headquartered on the West Coast. All of their matches were on the West Coast. They have not had to travel all over North America like this Colombian team kind of has to do. Is that going to come into play tonight? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not thinking it hinders the Colombians very often. I think they're the better team here. I think Switzerland has not really been tested so far this tournament, certainly not like Colombia. And now I think they're in for a wake-up call. Switzerland, they topped Group B. They drew with Qatar. They beat Bosnia. They beat Canada. And then they beat Algeria in the knockout rounds. That was their first shutout victory against Algeria. Colombia, they beat Uzbekistan and Congo. They drew with Portugal in a match that they dominated. They should have won, but they didn't need to win. They just needed a draw to top the group. And then they beat Ghana in the round of 32, a 1-0 game in Kansas City. I think Colombia is the much better team here. I think, again, this is going to be the best attack that Switzerland has seen all tournament long. And I think it's going to be a wake-up call for them. We know how good Switzerland's defense has been. All right, they allowed 0.60 expected goals against Qatar, 0.23 against Bosnia, 0.73 against Algeria. Pretty good numbers. Those numbers were slightly higher against Canada, but they were playing from behind for most of the match, so I would expect that. But again, they have not faced an offense like Colombia's. And as good as Colombia's offense has been all tournament long, their defense has really been the difference maker. I think Colombia is going to press. I think they're going to be aggressive. I think they're going to force the Swiss out of their comfort zone for 90 minutes. They are just going to make them as uncomfortable as possible, putting the pressure on, forcing the Swiss to defend for most of the match, something they haven't been used to doing so far in this tournament. They haven't played from behind. They have not had to defend much. I think Colombia changes that narrative tonight, puts some offensive pressure on the Swiss. So I have responsibly hammered Colombia. I'm on Colombia's money line at plus 125 for a unit. I also have a unit on Colombia to advance and the under 3.5 goals at plus 100 even money here. Again, this under 3.5 is a 90-minute wager, going to be settled after 90 minutes, regardless of the result. Even if we go to extra time at a 1-1 draw, our under 3.5 will cash. Then we'll just be rooting for Colombia to move on. And then last but not least, I've also got a half unit on Colombia on the money line and the under 3.5. Both of these 90-minute wagers at plus 180. Because I do think Colombia is able to end this in regulation time. I think they're going to shut out the Swiss. I don't see Switzerland, I don't see Switzerland competing offensively. I don't see them finding the back of the net. It wouldn't surprise me if we see a scoreless draw going into 90 minutes or even going into a PK shootout. If things are still scoreless, wouldn't surprise me. I think this is going to be a very defensive battle, but I do think Colombia is able to at least find one in the back of the net. 1-0 Colombia would be my correct score prediction at plus 575. Swiss going to be missing a lot of their offensive pieces as well. Manzambi is going to be out for this game, as well as Vargas. Two of their top goal scorers, two of their top assisters, both not going to be available tonight against Colombia. I think that seriously hurts a Swiss offense that has been underwhelming otherwise. They have scored 2.25 goals per game. They've been producing 2.54, but their finishing has not been up to standard. We saw 26 shots, I believe, against Qatar. They did not score from the field. Only really opened up against Bosnia when they were a man up, netting 3 goals in the final 15 of that match to win 4-1. Again, after Bosnia drew that red card. So haven't been overly impressed with Switzerland's offense. I think Colombia is definitely going to take it to them tonight, especially on the defensive end. But as far as the Swiss defense, I think they're in for a wake-up call tonight against Colombia with this offense. So give me Colombia to move on. We got them on the money line at plus 125. We got them to advance and the under 3.5 at even money, and then a half unit on Colombia and the under 3.5 in regulation time at plus 180. All 3 of those bets spread out amongst 3 different books. Do your line shopping as always, people. Get the best odds available, but I am willing to go to war with the Colombians after being adopted by them on Friday night in Kansas City against Ghana. All in on Colombia. Think they're a much better team. I also think they're not going to pass up this easier route that they earned to the semifinals and to the World Cup finals. They topped the group. right? A spot that everyone expected Portugal to be in. Now it's Colombia. They get by Ghana. I expect them to get by the Swiss, and then you're likely going to have a date with Argentina in the quarterfinals, assuming Argentina figure things out. Down 1-0 to Egypt currently. Maybe you face Egypt in the quarterfinals, and things get that much easier. But Colombia, you have done your part. You have set yourself up for success by winning the group, ending up on this side of the bracket. Now you just handle business. Maybe they luck out and do face Egypt in the quarterfinals. Regardless, it's not going to matter if you don't get this win tonight against Switzerland. I think Colombia is more than capable of doing so. And so I like Colombia to move on. Give me the money line. Give me 2 advance in the under 3.5, and give me the money line and the under 3.5 in regulation. 2.5 units on Colombia to get the job done tonight. That was actually all booked before I saw the Monzambi and the Vargas news. Expected lines to maybe adjust a little bit, but really haven't seen anything, which, arguably should worry me, considering those are 2 big pieces for the Swiss that aren't going to be available tonight. But we ride regardless. Colombia on the money line and the under 3.5, and Colombia to advance with the under 3.5. All 3 of those bets in this later match today, kicking off at 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern. No late games tonight, which, we got to give everybody a break until the quarterfinals that begin on Thursday. But I think we probably could have done with just the 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock kicks tonight. Apparently FIFA thought differently. So now we've got a match going off right now, and 3 o'clock is our latest match of the day. So a lot of time to spend the evening and night with your family folks. So make sure you do that. Block out some time. Because, again, World Cup has been incredible for the past month, taking up a lot of my days sitting on the couch watching soccer. Only get this once every 4 years, so you got to take advantage. But you also got to take advantage of those off days as well. We've got one coming up tomorrow before the quarterfinals begin. Now, looking at this bracket overall, I am going to have am I going to have them? Hold on. I don't want to misspeak. I was going to say I was going to have BTP on the show tomorrow, but I actually don't think that's happening. Let me look at this whole schedule right quick. No BTP tomorrow, but he will be on Thursday with me. So Thursday, BTP and I will be breaking down the entire quarterfinals and beyond before that France and Morocco game kicks off at 3 o'clock Central on Thursday afternoon. But let's just do a little previewing right now as a whole. France and Morocco going head-to-head on Thursday at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. I mean, France is a pretty substantial favorite for a reason, but I would be inclined to maybe take Morocco on the double chance line in this match. Let me get these lines in front of me so I can give you guys some accurate info. I mean, Morocco's +1 at -117, which I think is probably a really good bet. I wouldn't hate Morocco plus the half at +150, earning a draw in 90 minutes, holding their own against France. I think they'd be able to do that, especially just looking at it from a defensive perspective. We saw Paraguay basically hold their own against France. Only allowed an Mbappe PK in the 70th minute, right? Other than that, France didn't produce much. I got faith in this Morocco defense holding strong for at least 90 minutes, earning the draw. Now, Paraguay only produced 0.13 expected goals of their own. They were on the defensive side of things for most of the match, giving up 1.45 expected goals to the French. French possessed 76% of the game. But again, Paraguay went into that match with a game plan. We're going to make it hard for you to score. And they did exactly that. One penalty kick was the deciding factor in this game. Looking at France dominating the score sheet, 1.45 expected goals to 0.13, 76% of possession, 5-1 in terms of shots on goal, accurate passes, 510 to 98. I mean, it was all France, but Paraguay knew that going into it. Morocco is going to be a much tougher opponent than Paraguay was, and arguably, they might be one of France's toughest opponents of the entire tournament, especially considering they didn't play Norway's top team. So, France, who have you played right now? You beat a Senegal team who, yes, is top 20 in the world, but they held strong for 60-ish minutes, and then France offensively exploded. They beat Iraq 3-0. We didn't expect anything else from Iraq. Then they played Norway's B team, which, again, they beat 4-1. They got the job done. They won the group. But how much can we really take away from that match? In my mind, not a whole lot. You shut out Sweden 3-0. Sweden, not a good team. Then you struggle against Paraguay, only beating them 1-0 on a Kylian Mbappe free kick, or penalty kick, excuse me. Now you face Morocco, a top 6 team in the world, easily your toughest opponent of the tournament. And Morocco's been battle tested. All right. They had to play Brazil in the group stage. They had to play the Netherlands. They had to come back from being down against the Netherlands in the round of 32. Morocco has seen top 10 teams already in this tournament. Yes, France, number 1 in the world. But I think Morocco's ready to surprise some people. Could they win? Could they advance? Yes, absolutely. Morocco has the pieces to do so. They've just got to contain this French attack, which, again, I think they're capable of doing so for 90 minutes. I'd be much more inclined to bet Morocco plus the half at plus 150 rather than them to advance at plus 300, because I think eventually France might be able to flex their muscle and get a win, get a result. But again, Morocco can hold their own for 90 minutes, assuming they come into this match with the right mentality, knowing that this is a team that knocked us out in 2022. Knowing how good France is offensively, Morocco should come in thinking, let's slow this down. Let's possess the ball. We're not going to be super aggressive offensively, but we're really going to hold our own defensively. We're going to make it tough for them to score. And we've seen what happens when you make it tough for France to score. They get flustered. They struggle. And again, Morocco's defense more than capable of containing this French attack, and I think they'll show up for 90 minutes. So, likely going to be on Morocco on the double chance line at plus 150 against France on Thursday, but I will have my best bets in that match out that day, and we'll also be discussing with BTP. So, France and Morocco, leaning with Morocco to at least get a result in 90 minutes, but I'll have my official predictions out here in a little bit. Both teams to score odds. Both teams to score for France and Morocco, plus 102, KP. Plus 102 for both teams to score in France and Morocco. Now, the under listed at 2.5, priced at minus 117 to the under, alludes that it's probably going to be a low-scoring match. Likely a 1-0 France win or a 1-1 draw. Maybe we get a 2-1 France win. So I think that Morocco plus the 1 at minus 117, I think worst case, you're getting out of there with a push. Maybe they do win, and maybe they do earn a draw and you walk away a winner. But at that point, I would rather just take the plus half for plus money and root for the draw. You're not getting the push potential. You are needing Morocco to show up for 90 minutes. But again, from what I've seen so far this tournament, Morocco is capable. They're better than they were in 2022 when they went toe-to-toe with France in the World Cup final, or semifinals, rather. So, yeah, I just like Morocco. I think they're the better side here. Obviously, a 2-0 defeat against France in the World Cup semifinals back in 2022. France got a goal just 5 minutes into the match, and then Morocco was on their heels for the rest of it. France only 2 shots on target. Both of them found the back of the net, but Morocco dominated that match. 60% of possession, 10-14 total shot attempts, 3-2 won the corner kick battle. And yes, Morocco was playing from behind from pretty much that entire match. I don't think it matters, because I do think this Atlas Lions team is a lot better than they were 4 years ago. And I don't necessarily know that France is, to be honest with you. A lot of attacking power for this French team. I think maybe they overlook Morocco a little bit. Morocco, I think, more than capable of surprising some people. So I will more than likely be rolling with Morocco plus the half at plus 150 against France on Thursday. Moving on to Friday's match, we've got Spain and Belgium with fairly similar odds. Spain, a little less of a favorite against Belgium than France compared to Morocco. Spain minus 162 on the money line. Belgium at +1, minus 128. This is likely going to be a Spain and under for me, which looking at those odds right now, Spain and the under 3.5 at +141. You can go Spain and the under 4.5 at -104. I typically just think Spain is going to win a low-scoring game here. I think Belgium is going to make it tough for Spain to produce anything offensively. But I've been impressed with Spain's defense, and I don't see Belgium being able to net 2-3 goals like they were against the United States. I don't see Belgium being able, net 2 or 3 very, very quickly like they were against Senegal either. Spain is just a world-class talent. They're not going to let that happen. All right. They still have yet to allow a goal in this entire World Cup. Arguably the best defense in this World Cup. I think they're the better side. As much as bad as Belgium has looked in this tournament, they have clearly shown signs of still being a top 10 team in the world, right? We saw that in the last 5 minutes of regulation and then in extra time against Senegal, where they netted 2 in the last 5 minutes just to force extra time, eventually got a PK to win it right before it all went to a shootout anyways. Then we see Belgium absolutely dominate a U.S. team that really had no business showing up in this game. Just a piss-poor performance from the Americans in that match. That doesn't prepare you to face a team like Spain. Spain, on the other hand, struggled against Cape Verde. We knew that. Since then, they've kind of flipped a switch. 4-0 against Saudi Arabia, 1-0 against Uruguay. Could have made it 2-0, 3-0 against Uruguay. But again, Spain didn't need a high-scoring victory there. They just needed the one. They got it. They moved on. 3-0 against Austria, and then 1-0 against Portugal. They weren't overly impressive against Portugal in that match, but they were the better team, and they got the result in stoppage time. They never wavered. And the biggest difference to me in that Spain-Portugal match was Spain was pressing everywhere on the pitch. They were much more defensive focused in the attacking third. They lost the ball in the attacking third. They were right on the Portuguese defenders, making it tough for them to clear it and keep possession. Whereas Portugal, if you watch that match, Spain wins the ball and Portugal immediately runs back and gets in defensive formation, right? They were very, very scared of the Spanish counterattack, and for good reason. We know how powerful it can be. But Spain played fearless. They played up until the final whistle, whereas it looked like Portugal towards the end of stoppage time, kind of right when they conceded their goal, they looked like they were mailing it in and just preparing for extra time, just yearning to kind of get across the finish line to that point. And Spain took advantage, caught them sleeping. Mikel Merino stepped up, put one in the back of the net. So I think Spain, coming into this match against Belgium, the much better team on paper, more talented, much more youthful as well. Belgium, most of their studs getting up there in age. Spain, not so much. I also just think Spain has played more quality opponents in this tournament than Belgium, which could be a key difference maker in this match. So I like Spain. I'll likely go with Spain in that under 3.5 at +141. I think we see a 1-0 or 2-0 Spain victory because, again, Spain doesn't take a lead and completely parks the bus, but they're so good defensively, so sound in the midfield that they can take that 1-goal lead and then just lull you to death and play keep away and kick the ball around and control possession and never really give you an opportunity to create any equalizing chances, let alone enough to put one in the back of the net. So I think Spain wins a low-scoring match. I think they win to 0 as well, which you can find priced at about +169. +169 for Spain to win to 0 against Belgium on Friday. Some way, shape, or form, I will be backing the Spanish in this match. Because, again, haven't been overly impressed with Belgium. That's just the way it goes. Drip, that's okay. Busy day at work. Appreciate you being here regardless. We're sweating out this Argentina and Egypt under, folks, which if you told me Egypt was going to score first, I'd probably be okay with it. In my mind, this does have 1-1 written all over it. At this point, I think Argentina is certainly going to press in the second half and find an equalizer. Will they find a winner? I don't have as much faith in that. They are still minus 175 to qualify for the next round if you've got faith in Argentina. KP also locked in the plus 110 on the money line. You can find them right now plus 140 for Argentina to win this match in 90 minutes. Again, plus 140 to get it done in regulation, minus 175 still to qualify for the next round. Looks like it actually just went up to minus 185. Clearly, the books think Argentina is going to make a comeback. Now, the under 2.5, which we are currently sweating out, is plus 108, and I've got it for minus 115. Part of me wants to hedge that bet by taking Argentina on the money line here. Plus 140 wouldn't be a terrible idea. It would certainly cover the 2-1 result, which is, I think, fairly likely. Am I just better off betting that? Betting a 2-1 correct score? If I can find it. And that's the key first. We got to find that bet first. Correct score, 2-1 Argentina at plus 290. How much do we trust Egypt's defense? Because Egypt should come out this second half parking the bus. 0 questions asked. You're up 1-0 against one of the best teams in the world, facing the best player in the world, who has already missed a PK. How much more can you survive? If I'm Egypt, I don't want to take that chance. So what I'm doing is I'm getting 11 men behind the ball every chance I get. Now, looking at some of these shots on target lines, 1 shot on target from Enzo, plus 135. He's the betting favorite right now. Paredes next up at plus 190. DePaul at plus 220. Messi is minus 600 to get another shot on target. Alvarez minus 230. Both of them already have a shot on target in this match. Minus 600 for Messi to get another one. That's not moving the needle for me personally. Enzo would maybe move the needle a little bit because I got to think he's more involved offensively than like Paredes or DePaul. But that's not quite getting me there either. I'm going to leave this alone. I'm going to just sweat out the under 2.5 in this second half. Root for this 1-1 draw. That's more than likely going to happen. Plus 170 right now on the draw, if you'd like. Again, though, my under 2.5 at minus 115, that survives if we do get a draw. So I'm going to hold off. I did have thoughts on plus 140. Argentina to win in penalty kicks. Let's see. Method of victory. Argentina in a PK shootout, plus 650. You can get either team in a PK shootout, plus 350. If you want to go that route. You know, if I didn't already have stake in the under 2.5, I would definitely look to play some Argentina in some way, shape, or form. Because, again, in my mind, Egypt comes out and parks the bus, and Argentina just throws everyone forward. Because they have to. You're down 1-0 in an elimination game in the World Cup. Yeah, I think this game has 1-1 in regulation written all over it. If Argentina wins in PKs or extra time, so be it. minus 175 right now still to qualify for the next round, I think is telling in itself. The plus 140 on the money line, yeah, maybe they don't get it done in 90, but minus 175 to qualify, I think that's telling enough that Argentina will move on. Messi plus 100, even money to score right now. I really wish that Price was to score a second, because I wish he already had that PK in his back pocket for my Golden Boot ticket. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens. 100 even money right now for Messi to score a goal. KP, you already got Argentina at plus money. Doubling down on Messi to lead him to victory. Maybe not. All right, folks. Well, that is all the time I have. Appreciate you guys tuning in for the morning spread. I don't even know what episode number this is. 88, 89, 90. 90, episode 90 of the morning spread right here on the Betting News Network. 10 away from 100. Absolutely insane. Appreciate you guys being here. As always, starting your morning right here on the BNN with the morning spread. Come on back for 2 shows this afternoon on the network. We will have No Plays Off live at 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern. No Plays Off, we'll be live on the Betting News Network. Following that, afternoon Betspresso will be live talking MLB, WNBA, and more. That one at 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern. Duo of shows coming your way here in 3 hours. So take a little break. Enjoy this World Cup action this afternoon. Come on back in 3 hours for 2 more hours of content right here on the Betting News Network. Appreciate you guys as always. I will see you tomorrow morning on the morning spread. Until then, enjoy your Wednesday and vamos Colombia. I'll see you guys later. Peace.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? Down in the deep. Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here. Rolling. What you gonna do? Rolling. What you gonna do? Down in the rolling. What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this shit. What you know about